I started off as a business analyst in a work agency, and from there I learned a lot of stuff like ICP, what is B2B marketing, and how it's done on email and LinkedIn and other socials as well. And from 2 years, here's what I learned. If you're in going into B2B marketing, this is the things I would say you would look for if you're starting freelancer, if you're starting out as a business, and just sharing things what I've learned in 2 years from that agency. So that agency was one of the top Asia's lead gen agency for B2B especially. So I've been there for 2 years. The first thing, the foremost, when I learned is that when you go to a B2B marketing company that need leads, the first thing that is comes to mind or you need to ask is that ICP, ideal customer persona. So that is the first thing that they would say, hey, here these are the kinds of leads that we are looking into. So basically we are saying we have to focus on niche, right? So in to niche, these are the things that you need to know. So what kind of leads they want, where they should be from, what kind of companies they are looking at, and what is their some of the last point is that there's a warm and cold lead. The warm lead is that you or they are already know about the services, and they are actually in terms of looking or potentially interested or looking into getting the service. So that is a warm lead. For example, if you find someone on the comment section says, hey, this on an automation content director of a company that says, hey, this is cool, I want to check this out or something like that, and you can capture that lead, that is a warm lead. So it's a warm lead from a lead magnet. So that is a warm lead. So cold lead is that they know about the services. They may or may not know about the services, but they the interest rate is not been detected. So it's going to be cold outreach, saying if they want it or not in the first place. So that is the cold lead. So the ICP is the first thing I learned there. And after that, in the B2B industry, one of the most recommended thing I would say, once you get a lead and the lead, you hop on a call and talk about it, and after a week the client says, hey, I need to think about it. First of all, don't you have to make things as clear as possible and make them make a decision on the call. But most of the times the client will say, hey, I'll talk to my management or something like that. So that happens, and we often, what companies do is that they forgot the lead. So that's where the lead gen system comes in. You have to do a lot of follow-ups on when a lead comes in and goes out. Before closing a deal, I think we have to do about 20 follow-ups across 6 months for the lead, and that lead closed for a big deal at the end of the day. So in B2B industry, a lot of people are busy, so you need to follow up, not to be annoying, but you have to be follow up in a pace where they don't get annoyed. So that is something that I learned from my agency there. And I'm just covering the core points as I go through it. So first is ICP, second is follow-ups on the B2B leads that is coming in, and third thing is what I do there is that we implement these systems for companies to get leads from email marketing, from LinkedIn lead magnets, content, and so on, right? So we do that for every company out there. And one of the biggest clients or ERP systems uh, only for electronics, so that is pretty niche. And there's another one, cannabis system, like cannabis industry, which is the guy has been a huge player on the cannabis industry. So that has been a huge client for us. So the reason they were contacting us is we run cold email campaigns for them to reach out and see if they're interested in the service or not. So most of the B2B marketing was happening over the decade on that specific agency that I worked at is solely based on LinkedIn and cold outreach. So that is a huge thing that I saw even in 2022. I thought people are still doing that and making money out of it, and we were an Upwork agency, so that even I found Upwork on 2017, I think so. But after graduating, and I think on my ninth grade, I found about Upwork. But in my company, when I saw Upwork, there's a huge potential on Upwork, and they were making hundreds and thousands of dollars every month from the agency itself. So it is it is pretty big thing. Even I'm started on Upwork as a freelancer for about a year ago, and I learned a lot of stuff there and started my automation freelancing. And yeah, just I'll show you this. So yeah, I've been doing this for a while, and this is my profile, and this is what I've been doing in the past year. The niche I chose is B2B growth system, so that's been my experience so far, so that's the reason I chose that. And Upwork is kind of competitive right now at the time. What I learned in the agency was to get the lead on Upwork. I say whenever you get an invite, you should accept, and in a proper way, not in an agentic way or AI or something like that. You should accept it and push for a call immediately as soon as possible. If more or less 5 to 3 to 4 minutes when the invite came or a direct message came to you. So that's really huge thing on whenever you're trying to get hired on Upwork. So that's the thing I learned there. So we have huge invite number of invites, because there was multiple profiles, because it was an agency. So we had to manage them. So we also did an automation for that, from our emails to the Slack that we have. So whenever invites comes in, the some of the times you don't notice that on your laptop or your PC. Some of the times it do not mention it. So even if it doesn't mention it, what we do is that from email, there's webhook activates, goes through the Slack and notifies us. And even at times, at first there was a ringtone for an app that actually triggers and say, hey, you have an invitation or something like that. So that's how important to respond to a hot lead. So that's some of the things that I've learned. What else is there on this brainstorming right here? If, Even if you have a client in the past, you have done the contract and the job has been done, and you say, hey, yeah, thanks for working with us or something like that, and you have to follow up that clients also from time to time, asking if their projects are out there. And referrals, would you mind referring someone for the services that I provide for your potential network? That'd be great. And these are the things that I learned, because I seen these things work. One of the client from Australia had a client in Dubai. Actually, from a reference we got, that's a huge W for us, and it's been crazy. One of the things, the simple things that I learned have been helping the agency so far. So these are some of the things I learned. And what else is there right now? And LinkedIn, I'm still doing LinkedIn content, but it has to be some kind of huge backup on. Let's say you are a big company to do the stuff that you have to do, and that brings some attention on LinkedIn. But if you're starting at new, it's basically the content game. And LinkedIn is pretty good for lead magnet right now. It's been booming lately. One thing that on LinkedIn that you have to know is that you have to maintain consistency, obviously. But on LinkedIn especially, one of the clients we were handling is that we handled his LinkedIn for 6 months, the content is out there, we are getting 1 or 2 likes for, I don't know, every post that we do. And after 6 months, then only the client was able to get some traction on the content. Even he was a big investor in several companies, and he was almost 100 million revenue, I remember. But he has low LinkedIn interactions. I think there is one is there's a plus side on that. If you find someone on the LinkedIn, they are making a lot of money, but their social content is not recognized, you can just comment every day and to get attraction from that, and people will notice, hey, this guy's interacting with every post that I post. So that is one thing that is a plus side of when we are doing research on the lead gen or something like that. So that is one thing that you can leverage. But on the other side, the consistency matters over the 6 month of period of time, and then only they were able to get the traction or the leads from their content. So on LinkedIn, that is something I learned there. So I've been posting from time to time for whatever I've been doing with my projects, and or even the client reviews are on LinkedIn. So that's a huge thing that you have to notice. You have to maintain consistency, and you have to be transparent if possible, as transparent as possible. So yeah, and the next final thing I would say is that whenever you're just starting out as a freelancer or a business, I would say do volume and recognize the patterns in the volume. That is something that I seen work, and I'm also trying to work on that, trying to do volume on content, trying to do volume on emails, cold calling, and stuff like that. So yeah, so hope you like this video and the value that I provide, and the things that I learned. Just sharing it. Comment down below if you find it useful.